Hey, folks. My husband's handing me my tea. Thank you very much, sweetheart. All right. Peace out, homies. Okay. Sounds good. All right, guys. So, hello. My name is Alicia, and welcome to the Psychic Roundtable. Tonight, we are talking about cryptids, and we are going to have Thor, Melissa Parks, who has her own podcast. We're still talking about cryptids, so I'm going to have her do most of the talking, as well as possibly Symone of Willow Tree Readings and Matt from DPART. But without further ado, our subject is cryptids, cryptozoology. For those who don't know what cryptozoology is, it's the study and definition of animals and beings that may be mythical. Mothman, chupacabra, bigfoot, Yeti, and such. We may go into a little bit of cryptoanthropology, which is chasing down like Atlantis, Lemuria, Moon, things like that. But for right now, hi, Melissa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mothman?
Not too bad.
Yeah, I was not expecting the Mothman.
Just hanging out.
I
like
love
the
it.
backdrop.
Yes, very
Yeah, I have lamp.
spooky.
Awesome. All right, guys. We already have 2 peeps watching. Let's see if we got any comments yet. No comments yet. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves. There may be 2 more people tonight, but worth it.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, I guess. I'm Cass. I am kind of just a general, like, all-over researcher. Sorry about the phone. And I am I'm kind of a Wendigo enthusiast. So that's my main topic for me.
All right.
Well, my name is Melissa. I am one of the hosts of the podcast Weirdstale. My sister and I have been doing it for probably about a year and a half now. Sometimes we have guest hosts and things. We do talk about cryptids, but we also talk about all kinds of stuff. Like we talk about some true crime stuff, a lot of paranormal stuff. That's my favorite. And sometimes just plain old weird, mysterious, unsolved stuff. So, missing people and stuff. But we have done a lot of cryptids, so I'm excited. That's one of my favorites because, because we just have, that one is, I feel like whenever we talk about cryptids, we just have the most fun with it. It's just so fun to think about. So, yeah, I've done a lot of research on many cryptids, so
all right. Well, Melissa, as I was just saying in the intro, I'm going to let you do a lot more of the talking, because I really want to hear your point of view on this. And I don't run into too many cryptid researchers around here nowadays. It's been about 6-7 years since I've actually run into the heavier duty ones. So I want to hear from you.
Don't really talk about it in an open.
Seriously?
Right.
Wow, that's sad.
Whenever you start talking about it, people are like, oh.
Really? Nah, never at my shop. Never at my shop, never with me.
Good.
Oh, and by the way, we may be having a couple of future episodes on cryptids. Matt has mentioned a few cryptid researchers from out of state that he has contact with through his paranormal and ghost hunting conventions.
Oh, nice.
So he's going to reach out to them and see what he can do to pull them on. And if that's the case, I'm going to do some future episodes on cryptids because cryptozoology and cryptoanthropology is kind of my bag.
Nice.
And my time limit has been removed.
I'm going to take a look on the messenger and see where Matt's at. You guys, go ahead, talk amongst yourselves.
I always love that because, where do we start?
I know. Well, you said the Wendigo is kind of your thing, and I know about the Wendy boy, but I don't know everything there is. I haven't done an episode on it yet, so I don't know. I was kind of nervous. I know that's the one where it's like, ooh, do you talk about it or do you not talk about it?
Actually, no. I think we talk about all of it, and for the simple fact that it needs to be out there in the light.
Yeah.
I think so too. I know a lot of people are afraid to even say the words.
You raise that cross boundaries.
Really? Well,
all right.
Let's hear them.
So I guess for those that don't really know, we should probably start out with what the Wendigo is. So of course, the Wendigo, it actually there's 3 different types of Wendigos across mythology. There is the original Native American Wendigo, which was a shaman that was cursed for a horrendous act, normally, of course, cannibalism, but not always, to wander the lands. And I can't really find a concrete reason. Like some say it's for protection, some say it's for harm, but they normally their normal dress has like antlers and everything, and they get synonymous with skinwalkers a lot of times.
Yeah.
Then there is the European Wendigo, which is the forest protector, and it's again antlers is a big thing there, but then it's like a skeletal face and a gaunt but large being. And there's not so much about cannibalism there, but there is more about it will consume anyone that is entering the forest intending harm. And then there's the modern American Wendigo, which is a pale humanoid that has changed due to consuming human meat. And to me, it feels like it's probably the same Wendigo as the Native American, but we don't wear those dress anymore. We wear clothes that rips off easier and tends to like not be fully covering or eccentric like antlers.
Interesting. Whoa. I didn't know there were 3. I knew of the Native American legend one. I was thinking that was the only one. So that's interesting.
It's the most popular. Well, the most grounded for the name Wendigo. Because a lot of times the one in Europe was associated with Pan or would be Orhana, the god of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And so because they were protectors.
Yeah.
And, wow, my glasses are reflecting my thing so much.
I know I took mine off because you couldn't see. I'm like, that's cool. I feel like there are, aren't there a few cryptids that are, they're the forest cryptids, but that have the antlers? Like I know I did one not too long ago. I think it was an Inuit one. Hold on.
Yes. So the Inuit one is very similar, and so it could technically be categorized as a Wendigo, even though it is closer to a skinwalker.
Okay. What would you say is the main? Okay, so the skinwalker is I feel like it's so popular right now, if you want to call it that, like for people to talk about. Yeah. Well, I hear, you hear like and people don't want to say it. So they'll be like, oh, that's a flesh pedestrian. That's a, whatever. But
oh my God, I've never heard that term, flesh pedestrian.
Oh, they are
because they
terrifying.
don't want to say it. Or I've heard epidermis stroller. That's what
really?
I have not heard that one.
Oh,
but that's because the whole belief of to say the name is to invoke it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I'm just gonna see if I remember if I could find the name of that one that I did, and now I have to look at another picture of it.
And so Skinwalker is another interesting one, similar to the Wendigo, how modern times has changed it. The original Skinwalker was a Native American shaman that would use the skins of animals to turn into them.
Yeah.
Whereas now Skinwalkers are essentially erratic, shape-changing beings.
Shapeshifters, yeah. Here we
there
go.
was a little bit of
Not a deer. They're in there too, and they're terrifying.
Yeah. The not deers. That one's super interesting to me because there's so many deer around here, and you always just wonder, people will be like, I saw a not deer, I swear. And I'm like, okay, totally. I actually believe that. But also, was it just a messed up deer? you know what I mean?
Where I used to live in Idaho, out in the woods, in the mountain. So encountering deer was a daily thing, normally like 30 of them. And every once in a while, you'd see one that'd be like acting weird, or the other deer would not go near. And you're like, that's a little strange.
It's the Ijarok. But that one is the one, now that I'm thinking about it, I believe it does have antlers, but it also has vertical eyes and a vertical mouth. So you can definitely...
Yeah, okay. I don't know much about that one.
It's Inuit. I don't know if it is cannibalistic, but it is shape shifting. So it's the same kind of thing.
Okay.
And it lives on, the tundra. And so it's kind of they all kind of come from this, the storytelling of the Native Americans and kind of like warning people not to go in dangerous areas. And that's kind of how it started, of course. And so they say if you go out into the tundra, you may encounter this being, and now I can't remember. I'm sure it'll eat you, but I gotta find a picture.
They all eat us. Like we're just food.
We're like fleshy meat bags.
Yeah, so delicious. There are some creepy pictures. Yeah, so most of the time, and that they say that most of the time it shows up as a deer type thing, but it also can show up as whatever. Like it could be a bunny, it could just be a cute little bunny, but the only way you'll know is that it has red eyes and its eyes and mouth are vertical. Ugh,
That is intriguing.
super creepy.
Yeah, a lot of them are. So another one of the things about the Wendigo, though, that is kind of my weird theory that still is like a lot of people are like thrown off by. Do you know of the cryptid, the rake?
Mm-hmm.
So again, the rake is a pale humanoid that eats human flesh,
Right.
and others, but it has that metallic gauntlet thing, and is apparently telepathic, and so according to some stories.
Yeah.
You gotta go through all the different survivor stories, and some are pretty intense.
Yeah.
And to me, that actually sounds kind of more like a Wendigo of the modern day Wendigo, for a modern American, as I was saying, that has probably lasted long enough and survived long enough to sort of evolve.
Mm-hmm.
It's using tools. It's like gaining more access to its brain functionality. And I noticed that the locations of all the survivor stories and all that are pretty close to Nevada-ish. The Donner Party.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was always said to be multiple Wendigos born out of the Donner Party. And
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
oh yeah, it's a big thing. And actually, they even made a game that incorporated that into its story. It's called oh dang it, what's it called? Until Dawn. Amazing game, and actually they did pretty well in the Wendigo lore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I had that same thought of the evolution of it and it getting smarter and living in a world that's so much different than where it initially, where it came from, and why there's so many different cryptids in different areas of the world that have very similar characteristics.
Like migration and evolution.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And not just physical descriptions, because those would change depending on where you live physically. Like the Inuit cryptids would be probably covered in fur and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's the same types of things. But then I also think, okay, are these just born of normal human fears? Yes, exactly. Like, what is it about that?
Nope, I don't think they're born of normal human fears. Granted, yes, it would be natural to fear them, but the problem is too many stories, too many accounts corroborate even on a smaller detail.
And too many, like, worldwide, no access to each other at the time.
Right.
Stories. Like, I had a similar thing with dragons. It's one of the reasons I wanted to go into anthropology is to study the mythology language barriers. So, like, the European dragon was they probably used worm as the term, or serpent-like, and when it truly was more, it was the only description is a drake, really. Whereas the Chinese dragon was a long serpent, so therefore the language barrier probably caused them to think they was talking about the same thing and use the same word.
Interesting. Yeah, the serpents. You think about the same thing with all of these different cultures and things, how, everyone knows about Loch Ness, Nessie of Loch Ness, but there are actually, it's like in every single ocean, lake, river, there's a river monster that people have sworn they've seen, and it's the same
Champy and all that.
description. Yes. There's the mini Washitu, that's
There
in
was,
North
there was one
Dakota.
up in where I lived in Idaho. Was it Chattanooga?
There's the Devil's Lake monster.
Charlie.
Is that in North Dakota? Charlie.
It's Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah, from Payette Lake up in Idaho.
Oh my gosh,
My
funny.
mom used to live in Idaho for a long time, Boise, and I had heard about it, but I never got a chance to go check anything out.
So my uncle, he did say that he, when he was visiting in Ireland, he did see some sign of Nessie. And I mean, again, could be stories,
Well,
but he was like 8 at the time.
yeah. Oh. Honestly, is it really so far-fetched to think something's living in the lakes? I mean,
Yeah, right.
think about it. The water, the oceans, and everything, they're vast.
Right.
And we really wouldn't know. You know?
We would have no idea. Yeah.
Especially if it comes in like small and grows.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or even if it's probably not even the same Nessie or anything, and there's probably just offspring of that particular creature.
Quite possible. Could have been even like eggs of some sort if it's a egg layer.
Mm-hmm. So, no, all of this stuff is possible, which is why I find it so fascinating, which is, of course, why it's on the topic list.
Yeah.
Several times. Anyway. So, lake monsters. For or against?
It really does. It's even highly possible in a lot of lakes, like even Coeur d'Alene Lake, where I used to live.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much of it that they can't even search because it's so deep.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I totally think and that's why they're so mysterious too. It's not like you can just go out hunting for them like you can Bigfoot, where you could just go around in the woods. It's like, it could be there, it could be right under you. You have no idea, and you're not going to know unless you have this equipment that you can see big things
even
under
using
the water.
Deep range sonar, it doesn't reach that deep sometimes.
Right, exactly. It's really interesting. Also really scary. People have full-blown phobias of dark waters and not knowing what's under them. That's the whole, just seeing dark water. I had my gal I went to school with, I bought her book. I haven't read it yet, but she wrote a whole book that I think the whole point of it was to disprove the whole idea of Nessie. And so I was like, oh, I got to read this. I got to see what this is about. So I need to get on that. But
an interesting thing about that within the lake specifically, when they could get scans of some areas at the bottom, they would record over the years, like erosion and stuff like that. But sometimes there would be a spot that was that showed like a flat floor and all that, and all of a sudden it's a big dip, like the next time they scan it. And so it's like something's missing.
Weird.
Right?
Must be so many unknown creatures in the Mariana Trench.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really strange if we don't go like 2 years or so without discovering a new type of fish down there.
Mm-hmm.
When they first found out about the blobfish.
Oh, God.
And now it's a meme everywhere.
Well, I'm going to be curious to see if we actually find any actual Krakens out there.
I swear I did see something about one giant squid that was discovered beached, but I don't remember enough about it.
I heard one story, but I'm talking about one that can take down a ship.
I mean, that thing was pretty big, and the ships of the time weren't like, they were seen as huge, and some were pretty huge, but they were still like destroyable.
Very true.
Plus, also with wood rot possibly causing things to get worse, even though they tried to seal them, sometimes it didn't work so well.
True. Hang on just one second. I'm getting a message. I don't think Matt's going to make it on tonight, you guys. He's been having car problems, and another car died on him.
Jeez.
I know. This dude, vehicles this year.
Last week he had so much trouble connecting.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me message him back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Do you know, you were talking about dragons, and it also made me think of one of the other cryptids that I'm obsessed with because it's a local one, is the Van Meter Visitor. And
yes.
I love Vanny. Like he/she is just part of my lore now. But one of the theories is that it was a modern day dragon, or because people claim to still see them in the sky.
Yeah.
And so that was one of them. Like, is that maybe what it was? Or, oh my gosh, there were just so many. Like, was it some?
That is curious.
Yeah.
I actually don't know enough about the Van Meter because I didn't really know about it until moving down here.
Yeah, because no one really, it's not very well
It's
known
not a
at
huge
all.
famous one. It's not like
I've lived here my
Mothman
whole
or
life.
Devil.
Yeah, I've lived here my whole life, and I didn't know about it until probably 3 years ago. And I was like, "What the hell?" So it was basically, well, it was in 1903. It was over the course of, I want to say, 4 or 5 days that it was in this town, and there were so many witnesses. And it started with just a guy who was walking on the little street at night, and it flew. It's this huge bat-looking thing, is what he said, with leathery skin. Big claws. It said it had a humanoid body, but I don't know so much about that. Probably just that it had legs, I guess. But a face, something that looked like a big beak. But then the one thing about it that was like the most obviously noticeable and unique thing was that it had a huge light on its forehead. And it could just like light up the sky with this headlight basically on its forehead. So the next day, another guy sees it. It's climbing on top of buildings. It's climbing up and down lampposts and things until finally, basically, they chase it to the outskirts of town where it climbs down an old coal mine shaft. And they, it went down there. They chased after it, whatever. And then it flew out. And they waited for it, like the whole town with their guns and everything, because of course, why not shoot it? Because shoot everything apparently was their motto back in the day. And they waited for it to come back, to fly back. And it did. They shot at it hundreds of times. It didn't die. And they shut up the coal mine, and they just shut it down there.
Seriously? Wow. So mean.
Yeah. So it's maybe down there, or it died down there. We don't know if that's where it
or
lived.
if there are multiple.
Right. If it's thriving down there and there's a ton more, and it's going to show up somewhere else coming out of another mine shaft opening. But
we don't know if it already has. And that's the thing.
I know. Because
so many people, even if they do see it, they're not going to say anything.
Right.
Elena, is the megalodon shark still out there, you think? Okay, and then
very possible.
I'm so happy you are live. Oh, Sabrina, thank you. Hey, I finally got your message. I'm sorry, Sabrina. I didn't see it, probably because I was sleep deprived. But I will message you back soon. Anyway.
So we'll do the megalodon, and then I have a reversion back to the Van Meter. With the megalodon, I could see that it is quite possible, especially like I was talking about how like different when they do sonar, sometimes it just changes way faster than the Earth moving should be,
right?
Showing that there was something massive there. But at this point, it's either feeding deep on bigger things that we haven't seen yet, or it's starting to work kind of like whales do with krill, so it has a lot of a lot of smaller things.
Whoa.
Because to keep something like that large alive, it would be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the megalodon.
Okay, so with the Van Meter, the one thing that kind of stood out to me about the Van Meter is how similar, but not in the way that most people recognize, that it is to the Jersey Devil.
Right.
Yes. That was another theory too, because it was around the same time that the it wasn't at the same time. That's why they were like, maybe it's the same creature.
Just
because yes, like it was the Van Meter visitor first, and I want to say it was 5 years later. That could be wrong. I'd have to check my notes, but just a couple years later that the Jersey Devil was, being sighted. And they're like, did it just move away? Obviously, because it was getting shot at in Iowa.
Yeah.
And it couldn't come back.
Oh.
And it is curious because I had another theory. I think it was actually about Mothman, but it might have been Jersey Devil. It was a while back that I was like researching it and like figured it out. Theory is possible. Maybe around the pterodactyl, because I can't remember which one it was, but they showed up really soon after Mount St. Helens exploded.
Oh.
And like, if you think about that, they did say that they saw something come out of Mount St. Helens, multiple white witnesses. A lot of them, like, there's actually, I think Washington has their own cryptid because of that. That's similar to Mothman, but it's like a lizard.
Oh.
But it was flying, and of course, so it could have been like a almost like preserved pterodactyl egg, I think, or something like that, and the heat made it able to come out of stasis in a way.
Oh, I think people still believe that they full-blown see real pterodactyls still flying in the sky. I've seen videos that I'm like, what? They have the tail and everything. They do not look like a bird. It's really weird. Maybe not around here. Actually, there was a report of flying dragons, they said, in Boone in the early 2000s. And there was another one, was it near Cumming maybe? Which is just really interesting, because you're like, is it the same creature? Is it not? I mean, that's really close proximity to be seeing these.
In the description, the Van Meter and the Jersey Devil, and sometimes even the Mothman descriptions, can be pretty close to that, like, descriptor of a pterodactyl.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bat-like wings, the humanoidish figure, a long beak,
claws. Yes. The only thing that throws it off from everything is the light on the forehead. Like that. So we were trying to figure out, like, what is that? Was that just some kind of,
When was the Van Meter?
It was in 1903.
Was there any volcanoes around that time?
Not that I know of. There were a lot of coal mining shafts, though, which my sister and I were kind of just like, throwing ideas back and forth. But you think about the creatures who live in the really deep, dark sea, or the creatures who live in caves, they adapt light.
Yeah.
And so we're
it
like,
would have been like a pterodactyl that, like, a species of pterodactyl that had survived the ages underground and evolved the light thing.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, which would also explain why I saw multiple.
I don't know how
there were two.
Hip you guys are to this theory, but do either one of you know about the Hollow Earth theory?
I just heard about that.
So
what I'm wondering,
in this kind of
coal mines, what if we're just looking at a denizen from in rather than one we're just seeing in caves? Because I do know that Admiral Byrd, the guy that supposedly flew into Hollow Earth, he found a way in. He said there were Yetis and stuff running around in there, in Shangri-La. The city that he found them in was called Shangri-La.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
I've not heard that.
So my question is, are these cryptids actually here and we're not finding them, or are they coming up? Are they accidentally, like Bird found his way in, are they accidentally finding their way out?
Yeah,
also, one more quick announcement. The Psychic Roundtable's on Spotify. Link in the comments. All right, go ahead.
So I always felt that my theory about the pterodactyl with Mount St. Helens, it was far-fetched, because I mean, an egg surviving that long is so unlikely. But the Hollow Earth theory would lend credence to that because then it's just a living denizen moving.
Right. I mean, think
And it's
about it.
just something
People,
that a passage opened.
okay,
And probably
people wander
currents,
around
lava
and
currents, air currents, all that would move it.
yeah. People wander around and find themselves in weird places all the time. Hell, there have been reports of human teleportation, spontaneous combustion, interdimensional travel physically. Actual reports, multiple ones. We wander into crap all the time.
Yeah, like
Why
so
not other beings too?
the it's all they're all considered the Bermuda Triangles, but like the Bermuda Triangles of the world.
Well, and
because
the weird part is, sorry, Thor, I don't mean to interrupt, but the weird part is you can actually see these portals open at random in weird ass places. I need a bleeper for myself. I still swear way too much. But I saw one, both my father and I witnessed one open in my grandma's backyard, and something did come out.
that is curious because if something is going through it and it's not just a random opening,
Bingo. Something came out. You had a huge fog. It was probably what, 2, 3 in the morning? Completely dark out. Dad and I were out dicking around in the backyard because, that's what night owls do. And I was homeschooled, so he could do that. So he and I are off doing whatever, This fog rolls in. Then it looks really weird. It has this weird texture. And all of a sudden, what comes hopping out? I shit you guys not. A blue-furred rabbit. I'm not shitting. I could not make this crap up. This bunny comes hopping out. I'm like, Dad, there's a bunny. There's a bunny at night. And he looks at it. He's like, don't go near that, honey. I'm like, but that bunny's blue. And it literally popped out of the opening.
That's like a weird, not a deer situation.
Not bunny. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Did it?
No, I'm pretty sure it was a bunny.
Or the skinwalker or the, what'd you call it? The one from the Inuit.
Ijarok. Yeah.
Or bunny. So maybe it is a shapeshifter of some sort.
Yeah.
No, this thing was just a bunny, but it was blue.
Did it go back in? Did it?
No, it did not. Everything dissipated and it just hopped off. It was fine. It was happy.
Wow.
Curious. Most
normal ass thing in the world is that bunny. The other thing, I wish Angeline could make it on, but she just had eye surgery. And then she's not real able to do much of anything. But she and I, we sat there and sat on her front porch in Colfax, Iowa, watched a bubble portal open. And she's like, oh, that's so cool. And of course, me being who I am, the complete skeptic and the cynic, gee, that looks like a portal. She's like, that is a portal. I'm like, where does it go and what's coming through it? She's like, damn it, Alicia, why do you have to be so scary?
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
And these things are happening at random. So my question, or at least random for me, maybe on the other side, they weren't so random, but I will say, I wonder, 1, hollow earth theory, or 2, interdimensional theory.
And that would explain why they're not seen all the time, other than they're just hiding. They can't come through again if there's not another portal or whatever.
Are you guys familiar with the Skinwalker Ranch? I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of it.
It's basically this place, and I know something happened somewhere at some point in time. I just get the gist of it. But basically they set up a whole bunch of equipment and everything. They recorded air pressure changes, temperature changes, and they recorded howls, screams, everything. Yeah. The Skinwalker Ranch I think it's the Skinwalker Ranch. It's pretty interesting but that's more interdimensional theory than cryptids, I would say. But still, there was stuff passing in and out of it. And if I remember correctly, they did catch a Bigfoot going back and forth through.
Yes. There's another one of those in Colorado too. It's called Clearview Ranch.
Ooh.
And it is very strange when you read about this. It's not as well known. I don't know why, but it's the same exact things. First of all, everyone thinks aliens with that because they're like constant UFO sightings. But there was also the people who lived there were like, telling their stories of what they saw. And there was also a Bigfoot that just hung out with the alien. Like it was its sidekick. I'm serious. There were several witnesses to this.
Well, the weirdest thing about all this stuff, I grew up, my dad's a huge ufologist. He loves all of this stuff. And I grew up with all this. And the weirdest part about all this is it all seems interconnected. UFOs, multidimensional theory, cryptids, everything. It's all interwoven and interconnected. It's almost like where you find one, you're going to find the other two, and vice versa. So at one point, I know there was actually a few reports. They had UFO sightings, but it looked like the craft was appearing and disappearing, almost like you skip a rock on the water. And what they had postulated at the time was that it was actually changing dimensions. Because if you think about it, alternate dimensions, alternate space shifts, land shifts, everything like that, you could probably get somewhere quicker in an alternate dimension than you could in this one, or vice versa.
Quite possible, yeah. Especially if it's like any altered space dimension or anything like that.
Yeah. Sabrina, I don't think
Avalon.
we have even scratched the surface of what is possible on this plane. Oh, yeah, Sabrina. Yeah, that is 100% true.
With the dimension theory, like that also lends itself to things like Avalon or Tuna Nog.
Well, and yeah, if you go back, realms of the fairies, fairy circles, everything, you're not supposed to step in them. You're going in young, coming out 80 years old. And it's like, what's going on, or vice versa. You go in, and when you come out,
later you come out normal. Yeah.
And that was, God, that's old hat. That's old Irish Scottish myth.
Yep.
So, there's a lot more out there. Anything is possible, but how do you prove it?
Right.
And see, with the portal type stuff, the Bermuda Triangle, like I was saying, there are multiple of those types of things, like areas in the south middle of nowhere that cause disruptions and crashes and all that. There's I think there was one over off the coast of China, one off the coast of Madagascar, and they're all over the earth, and there's things that should be more a bigger news really have been not really talked about, like Amelia Earhart's aircraft.
Yes.
So she disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle, right?
Right.
But then all of a sudden, no knowledge of what's going on, they found parts of her wreckage in Africa around the same time.
Interesting.
And there you go.
And so that to me is
crazy.
Wormhole theory.
Yeah.
Wasn't there just some new news about her recently? Or did I imagine that?
No, I feel like I've heard the same, but I think it was something about hereditary or something like that, her grandkids.
Oh, are you looking it up? I was I swear I thought they found her or something. I'm like, that would have been bigger news.
I think they found her wherever she went to and have offspring with.
Interesting.
I think that's what it was, but I'm not sure.
Wow.
It's been way too long.
I know. I can't. Well, and it's so much information coming in all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have to filter through it all because not all of it's true.
Yep. I was trying to think of another cryptid that we talked about recently. Oh, we were talking about these ones are kind of funny. These were the ones that we were having fun with. We were talking about the cryptids that kind of spawned from loggers, the lore of the loggers in Oregon and in the Pacific Northwest, because these men would be in the woods all the time for their job. And they also lived there, and their families would live with them in these camps and everything. And so,
yeah, you see some interesting stuff out there.
Yeah. But what's interesting was I guess it was kind of Bigfoot-esque, but with these really strange features. One of them is the gumbaroo, and it is a giant gumbaroo. Yes, it's a giant. It looks like a bear, but with no hair. So, and it's also all black, but sometimes it has a little beard. and eyebrows.
It's terrifying. Have you ever seen a shaved bear? It's
I
even
know.
scarier than an actual bear.
Well, then you think about it and you try to be like devil's advocate a little bit. You're like, okay, maybe they were seeing a bear with mange. But then they're like, no, because anything that you like try to shoot at it or you try to lob a rock at it or something, it'll come right back at you with like double the force. And so that was their kind of warning not to try to kill or harm this creature because it would, just throw it right back at you. And then there was, go ahead.
Again, devil's advocate on that one. That makes me feel like they were like going to have someone dress up as it, and they're like, please don't shoot them.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yes. Because you'll get a bullet right between the eyes if you do. Yeah. No, that's funny. They're probably playing pranks. It's just so funny stuff like that where you have to wonder or just speculate, did someone really see something and experience something? Or was it just telling stories around the campfire?
And it can be a mix of the two where someone saw something, told a friend, or they themselves decided, I can profit off this.
Yeah. But then
or entertainment.
Exactly.
Then there's also the thing of the game of telephone.
Yes.
You guys have played it, yeah? So anything we're getting, that's going to be like 10th hand. Nicole, think that's where the Fae and dragons hang out in parallel universes to us, because Avi, we aren't good cohabiting with. Very true.
They don't want to live with us.
Yeah, no kidding. Sabrina Taylor, I heard something about her, Amelia Earhart, and then Beth. Well, hello, everyone. Hi, Beth. How you doing? But
so if we don't have a continuation topic, I do have another cryptid that is very unheard of mostly.
You know what, guys? You're just going to take off with the cryptids. Go for it. Because honestly, both Symone and Matt, they're out for tonight.
That's fair. And I have no time limit now. So
awesome.
Have you ever heard of the Ningen?
Ooh, no. What is it?
So it's a Japanese cryptid, which is very ironic because Ningen in Japanese literally just means human.
Okay.
But it's a sea creature that is essentially like the bottom end of like a manatee, and like most of it like a manatee, but then it has arms and fingers and like somewhat of a humanish face.
Ooh.
Dead ringer for a mermaid.
Except for apparently it doesn't have a humanoid body.
So manatee body, arms and legs.
Just arms.
Oh,
Sorry.
Just arms. But it's
I
human
don't know if I said legs, but that's just arms.
face. No, I probably just heard like.
There's arms and fingers.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? If you're out at sea long enough, that's going to look pretty darn good.
Like
that's fair.
Kind of like mermaid, but yeah, not the like scales and
enough to probably start some mermaid myths.
Yeah.
Or Selkie myth.
That's where I was going to go with it. It's the Selkies.
Mm-hmm. Selkies are honestly though, I do believe there probably is something like a mermaid or mermaids wandering around out there. Simply because of a theory I heard that some apes stayed more to being amphibians and some came up and evolved.
That's very possible.
So I'm betting there's probably something creeping around that might look a little bit more like us, but be developed to be aquatic.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
And then with the Selkie myth, those I just love. That's basically just a shape changer myth. Hold on.
There are, you brought up the Japanese, there are so many Japanese creatures.
So that's the other reason I wanted to be an anthropologist, is I actually wanted to go around Japan, find all the like the lost shrines essentially, and talk to locals to find their tales about the shrine and the stories of the shrine and pretty much bring it back to light.
Yeah.
But that would be a lot of work and there's no funding for that.
I'm sure, yeah. We did an episode once on Japanese bathroom ghosts.
Oh my God, no! Oh God!
And some of them are ghosts, just like spirits, and some of them are just like, what? What is that? They're scary. They will make you scared to go in a bathroom.
It's also like the Tsukumogami. Tsukumogami essentially everyday items inhabited by a spirit that have changed.
Oh my gosh.
Like a lot of times there's umbrellas, a lot of umbrellas and shoes.
Like the umbrellas are an actual,
like the umbrella grows like a foot like thing and hops around after people.
That's just like every child is afraid of when you're a kid, when all your things are alive and looking at you.
So
the yokai
are normally items that are either abandoned through neglect or maliciousness, and so that's why there's a lot of umbrellas, because you bring it with you in the rain, then leave it somewhere, or it gets damaged, or you drop it somewhere, someone takes a kid steals it from another kid. So that makes sense for the umbrellas. And there's a lot other ones too. I just can't think of all of them off the top of my head. There's like thousands of them.
I'm looking right now for my episode that we did. I mean, so many. Like I had to go by room by room because there's no way you can even talk about all of them in one.
Yes,
lanterns.
Yeah, that's another one.
Lanterns. There were a couple other ones that were really crazy because I remember looking up the yokais for a couple of projects I was doing.
So yokai is technically like any sort of malicious spirit or demon, whereas Tsukumogami are specifically abandoned items.
The yokai, though, honestly, it's supposed to be a malicious spirit, like a demon, but they act more like the fae.
Yeah, they kind of do.
They're more like fae, especially when you look at the kitsunes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
And then, of course, if you also look at it, there is kind of a scale, like a spectrum of yokai and kami, because the kami are so pretty much like there are yokai that become kami and vice versa. Kami
are gods. They're the deities.
Exactly. So they're the benevolent seen beings, or the all-powerful seen beings. Whereas, so it's like, it's kind of like the good-evil scale. Yokai are evil, kami are good, but not fully. It's more of just they exist within that spectrum. And I think it's all the same thing, but they are the two terminology.
Beth Coles, I think cryptid creatures are more common now, more evidence being seen because of technology. It's a good thing, at least now, any of us open-minded people finally have evidence. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, so one of my favorite cryptozoologists, unfortunately, he has passed a while back, but he has done some amazing work. Ivan Mackerel.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay. Of course, his big thing, he loved Mongolian bloodworm. But he did some of his research into the Temple of Agartha was amazing. He also tried to contact the bat people of what was it called? It was like a Brazilian area, and it was like they were seen as a cryptid because they were technically not human anymore.
That does sound familiar. I just can't place it. There's a couple of wonderful yokai books that are new I've seen at the library. Both were in the children's section, which threw me a bit. Now that's creepy. Hoy, that is not something kids should be reading.
Yeah, it kind of adds to the whole, is your teddy bear talking to you?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, God. No, I heard it postulated. I want to do more research on it, but apparently across different cultures, there are creatures that attach on to young people and pretend to be imaginary friends. Now, for me, I know that is dark spirits or protector spirits, guardians, things like that, and spirit guides, but there are other entities with far more malicious intent.
Yeah,
but you could actually go research it, or if you guys have anything, toss it out there.
That's one of the reasons why I kind of think that the Furbies were actually like an experiment to harness those.
Yeah,
just because they were.
I remember it was really odd. Now that you bring that up, I wanted a Teddy Ruxpin really bad when I was little. My dad absolutely forbade them. I finally asked him, and of course, when you're a kid, you're just like, yeah, you're just making up excuses. But now, after some of the crap I've seen, not so much. Apparently, from what he saw, because he he's clairvoyant. He can actually drop out and take a look at things. He kept getting a really bad feeling around the Ruxpin dolls. What he saw was that these creatures, there was some sort of spirit that would drop in to the Teddy Ruxpins.
Oh God.
And that would make some sense with the Furbies as well, because they were populatory, spread out, and they would be easily accessible, especially since them moving and talking wasn't an unusual thing because they were meant for that.
Exactly. And that's
Unless
and
you were like me, who took them apart, took every single sort of electrical battery or anything out of it, and it still talked.
Ah! Oh my God.
well
It still
then.
moved, still talked, even though it was parts.
Oh my
Well
God.
then you know exactly what I mean. Oh, Dad was right. Darn it.
Oh no. That's scary. No, I'm pretty sure I hid my Furby in the back of my closet under a bunch of clothes so I couldn't hear it talking in the middle of the night because
Oh yeah,
it
they
was
were also
so
just
scary.
annoying.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, my kiddo, somebody got him a talking bear. There is nothing creepier in the world than when you are sleeping and that bear is across the room and it starts going off and you're just.
So
Yeah.
I had one that was really, really bad, and it was a talking bear. So the battery started
Yes,
dying in it. So it was like that long drawn out type thing. Except for I took the batteries out and it still randomly do that. And I'm like, that's a little weird. Maybe it has an internal battery.
Yeah.
I was the curious type kid that would take things apart a lot. And so I just threw it on the bed and like, I don't want to deal with it. And it would, in the middle of the night, start growling long and drawn out. And I'm just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, nope. That Furby's going in the fireplace or the cook pot or something.
I did burn the Furby, but the bear, we just got rid of.
Yeah, no.
They melt interestingly.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. Like demons.
Well, no, actually,
Kind of actually a lot like the old TV demons melting.
Yeah.
Actually, it's weird. I don't know what happened. See, have you guys ever read The Demonologist by Ed and Lorraine Warren?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
Okay,
Yeah, that's too much on my reading list.
I kid you not. My mom sent this to me because it was too scary for her to read. I was 10 at the time. So I sat there and I read it. I was like, this is interesting. Well, they always postulated, they felt that anything with eyes, if you already had a demonic possession, anything with eyes, like paintings, dolls, stuff like that, would be another gateway.
Oh,
I was like, that's interesting. And I have found that somewhat to be true. Also, why I don't own any dolls and never will, especially those porcelain ones. They are just so creepy.
Maybe that would explain why the eyes were the last thing that melted on that Furby.
Ooh.
Okay, now Thor, you're just creeping me out at this. Just try. You just
like
try.
Around the eyes melted, but the eyes themselves were the last thing.
Yeah. Well,
Just staring at you.
Oddly enough, my son loves Care Bears. And so, of course, I love Care Bears too. So I spoiled him with a bunch of Care Bears. He kept not wanting to go to his playroom. So I went in and I dropped in and I was like, okay, what's going on? Kid you not, right at the doorway to his playroom, he had a huge wish bear. And I was like, what's going on? That thing actually followed me. His eyes followed me. When I was walking back and forth, I'm like, okay, we're going to go on this side. Then we're going to go on that side. All right, you know what? I'm on to you now. So I grabbed this thing and it just, the level of malice that came out of it just kind of tingled up through me. And I'm like, you know what? You're going to get depossessed because I still want him to have the wish bear. I took it to my energy worker friend and she cleared it all off. She held on to it for a long time. She's like, okay, all right. Yeah, she worked it over really well. And it was clear after that, but the thing's eyes, it was just stationary, but it would move.
Mm-mm.
And I even took pictures of it. Took picture on one side, took picture on the other side. And I'm like, aha, gotcha. So yeah.
Yeah,
Teletubbies were questionable too. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No Teletubby dolls in my house. Creepy. Okay. New York worst nightmare was my buddy doll my friend had. It so looked like Chucky. Ooh.
My buddy. Bye, buddy.
They really were. I mean,
Bye,
Chucky was
buddy,
based off of
Annie.
that as a concept. So
Teletubbies were based off of Holocaust kids?
What?
Oh
What?
God.
I've never heard that.
yeah, it's a pretty deep thing if you can find any of the details about it.
I was never into Teletubbies. I think I was too old for it. Yeah.
It irritated me as a kid.
I think I missed it.
It was too slow.
Teletubbies
Also-
were weird. They are weird. My son has started watching them a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, kid, this is weird. It's kind of freaking me out, but you're happy, so whatever.
At least it's not. Oh, Uba.
Uba. What is Uba?
Oh, that I saw that once, and I'm like, this is a trip. This is not a show.
Wait, is it that one that's blue and has all those flying lights and stuff?
Yeah, it's there's like lights and color. I understand because lights and colors for kids. I get it.
Uba.
But
Yeah.
it was. I could not watch it.
Oh, that thing was weird. It just looked like an acid trip.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. Yeah.
Uba?
But yeah, no, I was like, are you just trying to like hypnotize these kids? Because that's what it
Right.
looked like. It looked like a hypnotic light show to me.
Oh, they
Oh,
were Booba.
Oh my God, boobas were so strange. Hi,
Yeah.
Rose. Thanks for tuning in. And yes, boobas.
Uh, So I do have one story about what happened to me when I worked in a nursing home. Actually, I have lots of stories in a nursing home. It was an interesting time.
Okay, if it's about a creepy doll coming to life and eating people, please continue.
Oh, not that far.
Darn
But-
it. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
So I had this one client. They were lonely a lot, and so like they would press the call light just for us to come in there. Just like they were wanting to get turned constantly.
Hey, hold on, just real quick. Delia, my niece had a talking Christine doll. The batteries were dead and taken out, and she was put in the closet. One day she's saying, "It's dark in here."
Yeah, they are.
Holy ball sacks. Okay, Teddy Rex. Yep, Teddy Rexpin. Yeah, okay. Damn it, Ted was right. Okay. Go ahead.
So the client, they like would constantly at night call us in to flip them, even though like, or I would say they have to go to the bathroom, but then we get there and they're like, no, I'm fine.
You're lonely.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understood it. So I actually, when I didn't have any other duties to do, I was like, would it be better if I sat in here and read my book near you? Like not like aloud or anything like that, but just so that they could sleep knowing someone's there. And they said yes.
Cool.
And so I'm sitting there reading, and like they actually fell asleep pretty quick after that.
Oh yeah.
I kind of know why now, but so in their room they had a bunch of like knickknacks, and there was some dolls in the dresser and everything. And I had asked them about all this stuff before, and most of the stuff apparently weren't theirs. Like it was like just given to them because of like cast off stuff like that.
And as we were just talking about today, cast-offs, thrifting, everything can carry a lot of entities.
And that's the thing is, I'm sitting there reading my book, and I swear I saw movement, and I'm like, is there a bird outside or something? Because the windows are right there, but like right over there is the dolls on the dresser, and I'm like, can't be. So I look down these peripheries, and I literally see a doll's head just. And I'm just like, well, now I know why they call us so often, and why they can't, like, they don't want to face the wall because it's behind them, but they don't want to face it because they can see it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So did you like pack all those dolls up and get rid of them?
Unfortunately, I legally wasn't allowed to.
I know I love thrifting, and I always just think like, I wish I could like feel energy so I knew what I was bringing home, because we've had a few weird things happen after I just started thrifting a lot more, and I'm like, oops, time to clear out this place. I didn't think about that.
Well, I mean, basically what you want to do, your thrifted item, you keep it outside of your home boundary. One, you've got to ward your home. You've got to make sure it's tight, your bubble's tight. Do you know what warding is?
Not really.
Okay. Think of
The face you made on that.
I need to know.
okay. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to do a show about this. That's just it. But anyways, warding is, it's an energy bubble, a protective energy bubble around your home. It goes through the ground, it goes around, it goes everywhere. Okay, that's your home shield.
There's different forms. Some do a like more like form fit where it like sucks to it. Others do a full bubble so it extends past it a little bit.
I've done that before. How do you do it? Because I've just imagined it.
Yeah,
over and over again.
Yep, it's will it into being.
Yep, you basically
I have done it.
There you go. But the thing is, and here's the interesting thing about thrift and any other items, if you or your husband or anybody who has permission to cross that boundary pulls that item past the boundary, immediately lets something in.
Yep.
Because you're giving it permission.
Essentially a permission.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So you want to reinforce that boundary, always reinforce the boundary. If you want, get a rock outside or get something, some sort of totem to put to anchor the boundary to your home. The other thing you can do is bury obsidian and selenite around your home, like at the four corners of your property and then in between if it's really bad. But with the thrifting items, before it gets past your boundary, you want to Palo Santo and sage it off, spray it with some lemon pledge if it's furniture, everything like that, go over it. What my dad used to do, and here's the thing with saging, Palo Santoing, and everything else, it is will and intent based. It's partial real world, partial your energy pushing everything out. What Dad used to do was he would, because he loved old tools and books, so he would blow smoke into a bag or receptacle, tie it all off, and force everything out of it. But he'd leave it there for a couple of days. In a space that was neutral. Even if it was inside the boundary, it was neutral. That was his working area, whether it be the garage, whatever. Not part of the actual house, but just a space where he knew they would be safe, wouldn't be taken. We lived in Flint, Michigan, so, you know. Everything was safe, but it was being cleansed. He did it for bugs as well as spirits.
Yeah.
So,
gotta do that too. Yeah.
So yeah, no, anytime you're thrifting, clothes, furniture, books, anything, you always want to make sure you clean them off physically. What?
Especially if it has eyes.
Well, if it has eyes, I'm not bringing it home.
I don't get any eyes. Yeah, no. Well, except I do get photos. Whoops. Well.
And you've got to be, well, and we just covered this, you've got to be really careful with photos simply because
I love
photos,
so much.
paintings, anything like that, they are actual gateways for entities.
Yep.
They can pop right through. It's very easy.
You know, it's interesting. I have so many photos, the old vintage, like Victorian photos. Nothing ever happened around here until I got, it wasn't even anything. It was like, a more recent book, like a modern book. It wasn't even an old one. Then some weird shit started happening. I'm like, what is this?
No, it's all about the environment it comes from. I ordered a used book off of Amazon. It was a fiction book that I wanted to read. The second it came in, oh my God, I could feel it coming off that. I bagged that sucker right up and went, nope. It's still in the bag. That's how strong it is. I've got to take it to my energy worker. Beth Coles, my homemade Raggedy Ann and Andy's dolls. Oh my God, they would always move. Jesus God. No.
Annabelle.
Okay. Or a mirror, especially. Lock that down. Yes, Rose, that, yeah, you're dead on. You got to lock all your mirrors.
Especially silver-based ones.
It don't matter. You need mirror.
Yeah, but the silver-based tend to be a bit stronger. Especially if you're doing any rituals involving mirrors, they're better.
Well, and here's the thing. Imagine if somebody was already doing rituals with that mirror.
Exactly.
And it got put up.
It stores better.
Yeah. So, now do you know how to lock down your mirrors?
No.
Okay. Thor, you want to take this one or you want me to do it?
My mirror moved the other day.
Thor?
I know how to imbue them.
Okay. When you're locking down a mirror, any reflective surface can be a gateway. Okay. You want to lock down all the doorways in your house and your mirrors. So, what faith? I know Thor's more Wiccan based. What faith are you, Melissa?
That's a tough question for
Okay.
me right now. I'm in what's the word? evolution of that
Okay,
as well.
that's fine. I'll just teach you what my buddy Mike Bales taught me. He's very calm and logical about this. He's a Wiccan, but he knows I'm a spiritual freelancer. So he was like, okay, you need a symbol or a sigil or something to lock your doorways. So you do it on all your doorways, especially your closets. Your closets are big thoroughfares, big gateways, but you want to lock that down so nothing's coming in. It's kind of like locking all the doors in your house. Okay. With your mirrors, especially, and any mirrors you have in your bedroom, get them out of your bedroom. Because not only do you, what?
Do not sleep near mirrors.
No, that's not a good idea. Because not only can stuff come through mirrors, practitioners can actually watch you through a mirror.
Yep, scrying.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done it on people, but I have done scrying.
Oh my goodness. But the thing is, I mean, I always say, you know, if you're watching me through a mirror, you must be pretty damn bored. But at the same time, it's still creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to lock down your doorways, lock down your mirrors. And what you do with your doorways, you visualize whatever comes to you. For me, it's always bricks up, closes down. And then I do a close symbol, which looks like the close symbol. As you can see, I've talked about this before. Yeah.
It's fairly hard to see.
Sorry.
It's a circle with a line.
Yep, circle with a line through it. That's it. And then with the mirror, you're just going to visualize whatever you do to shut it down. Bricks, chains, whatever. For me, it's always brick and rock. And then I do closed. See you. Bye. And what you're going to do in your mind when you're pushing around on it, look for any weak spots. And by the way, stuff can break through those boundaries if they try hard enough, if they're dedicated enough. So you kind of want to go past, you know, if you feel something funky or something starts to get off in your house, go through and be like, all right, where's it coming from? And you will actually get pulled to the site where you've got an opening.
Yep.
I actually did it on my mom's back door. I was like, no, something's wrong. And Arthur, he kept going to it. Close that. I'm like, honey, it's closed and locked. Close that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And sure enough, there were holes starting to form. Stuff was trying to burrow through. And I'm like, I don't think so.
Kind of similar to the siphons in the shop that I've been feeding on.
Bingo. Stuff just keeps kind of trying to get through. And stuff will, you know, especially with the ley lines in disarray like they are. They're getting a little bit better, but they're still pretty funky.
I guess I technically have the advantage of where something tries to get through, I can just eat it.
Yeah, and then, well, Thor, that is you. Honestly, I would not want to eat half the stuff that comes through and come to visit me.
But I'm able to filter it, so it's nice. What?
Thor's
Wait,
like
now
a
you're-
vampire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, energy vamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that's
that?
stigma.
I actually don't know. It sounds bad, but I actually have no idea. Like if I did it, I would not probably do well. But
No, you have to actually be more geared to filtering it out. I've known quite a few. And the thing is, it's almost like they're built to filter it. Now, you can be a psychic vamp naturally, but you can also be one by default if you get really sick.
Yep, damage, anything that makes either throws off your energy metabolism or damages like your ability to take in some types of energy. Like, I don't know what reason I am, but I know for a fact that I can't feed off of heat or sun. I actually am allergic to the sun beforehand. So I get a blistering rash after about 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It sucks.
And yes, Eowyn, closets are a huge one. Mirrors and closets. When the kids say they see something in the closet, 9.78 times out of 10, it is real. So you just want to lock all those puppies down.
Yep. And I reinforced my house shield with the evil eye on the front door.
Yep. A talisman, something to anchor it.
Yep.
Close your locks, but just like all things, you have to keep checking the locks. Close them. Good job, Beth. Yes, I like that. Just like all things, you have to keep checking them. It's the same way with your front door and everything else. You make sure the locks are closed.
Yep.
Now, when stuff got really bad at my place, I don't do it anymore. But what I used to do was I would actually pull in some help from my guides and stuff. And I would have one of my guides basically just sew up the entire house. And that was interesting because I could feel the vines of energy all through the house. So when something plucked on one, I was like, nope, gotcha.
Spiderweb.
Kind of like, but red, which is weird. But anyway, yeah. So
Yeah, I definitely need to do that. I saw this was a few weeks ago, but I do have a mirror in my room, which I will be removing immediately. And it jumped to the side just a little bit, just a little like this, right when I looked at it. And I thought, I don't love that.
So another reason about the no sleeping with a mirror is essentially, since it's such a doorway, essentially, some things can steal from you, like energy,
true
stuff, just everything while you're sleeping because you're more
I
vulnerable.
believe that. Yeah.
And also looking into a mirror while you're in a sleep state can cause a altered trance.
I've done that. Oh.
I've heard that. So it's true.
Yeah. Oh. I haven't encountered myself, but I have encountered a friend that was stuck for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're dreaming and you look into a mirror in a dream, is that what you
like
mean?
pretty much I feel like you're sleeping and then like you wake up, maybe you have to go to the bathroom, like that, and you look straight in the mirror first before you're fully awake.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You go like this when you go by the mirrors in the bathroom.
No, I've done it plenty of times. It doesn't really have any effect on me.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of like chance, and not everyone. It all depends on how sleepy you are, and if you're used to being in a sleepy state or used to trances.
Oh well, no, because I got an aura reading. Sheeman Averhoff Phillips, she runs an aura photography, but it's more of a scan. Honestly, if I can get her into any of the in-shop fairs again, I recommend everybody go see her. She did a reading on me, and she was actually even able to pull information off my kiddo from that reading. And she looked at all the reads, and she's like, Alicia, you're spending about 60%. You are almost like 60% out of your body at all times. So you're not quite there. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
So then that would make sense of why you wouldn't get like essentially tilted or askew from looking in a mirror in a sleepy state, because you are used to being
I'm gone.
Fluid, essentially.
Hold on just a second. Beth, feng shui say not have mirrors in your room. Yeah. Well, for see,
hopefully you're. Aww. It's Betty Bye time.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
By the way, cute kid. Awesome.
Thanks.
I compliment you on your spawn.
That's my middle one, so the other two will probably come here soon.
Good job spawning. But no, with the mirrors, my husband and I, we got gifted a huge, I do mean huge, mirror that clicked onto a dresser that we had in our bedroom for the longest time, until I realized I kept trying to lock down the bedroom and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then I was like, oh, duh. I tried putting a sheet over it. I tried covering it. Nothing worked. So finally, I just unscrewed the mirror from the back. It was huge and it was heavy, but and so I yanked it out, and it's now sitting in my garage facing the garage wall, and we've had a lot less problems in that room.
Wow.
Yeah, they can be interesting.
I just keep looking at it now.
That was one of the things about when I worked at that nursing home that made it harder to do everything, because there was already enough like crazy stuff going on, and all of the hallways had mirrors on both sides, like facing each other.
No.
So you had rebound.
Yeah. No, I don't like that.
Their whole excuse for it was so you can see around corners and make sure you don't hurt anyone. Well, for one, you shouldn't be running around corridors, and two, no.
Yeah, that's what you get those just one little mirror up at the corner for.
Exactly.
Well, but actually that sounds kind of interesting though, all mirrors along the hallway, which is already a doorway. Okay. God, that must have been like Grand Central Station.
Okay, so I do have some stories from there. Do you want them? They're mostly ghosts, though.
Let's go with it.
All right. So, and see, with most of these, I'm not really affected. I'm more just like, oh, this is interesting. There was one that actually, like, I was like, okay, I'm done. But so one of the main ones, there was like actually like like it was called the 1 a.m. ghost. Everyone, all the staff knew about it and would talk about it. It was when I like started there, my coworker was telling me about it, and they were talking about how at 1 a.m. exactly, someone will go through the front door that is like alarmed, but it will beep if like people go through it, but not always. They say for
Kind of like that.
ghosts. And then
Good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, kind of close, but not exactly. But then they would hear footsteps down that hallway, but on the cameras, in the mirrors, and when they walk over there, there's nothing.
Wow.
And as he was telling me that, we hear a beep. And I'm like, it's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then, like, on the camera, we see just a dark shape just go down the hallway, like at not like a fast or a slow pace, just kind of like a brisk walk. And like I walk over.
You caught it on camera.
There. Yeah, except for the records don't show anything.
Weird.
Both of us saw it.
That's actually
But
pretty
didn't
cool.
record. Yeah.
So that was like the one that was like everyone knew. There was other ones that like I didn't encounter, but I'm glad I didn't, because that is kind of terrifying. Of faces staring down the skylights, stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Nah.
Wow. No.
No, unfortunately, because of how many visits I get, I don't need to ghost hunt. I don't need any of that. I grew up with my dad talking to the dead with verifiable results. He would be able to know stuff and get it verified in front of me.
Yeah.
Nobody should know. And then now that I'm older and everything, I'm seeing them myself. And honestly, man, it's really bad when your kid sits down and watches the Red Rose haunting movie of Stephen King's. Have you guys seen that movie? Okay. Well, Stephen King movie about Red Rose Manor. And I'm sitting there. This is the only time my son ever sits with me to watch a supernatural movie. Normally, he leaves the room. He doesn't want anything to do with it, mainly because he sees spirits as well. He can literally pinpoint where they are in a room. So he's sitting with me, and he's got his little tablet out, and I'm watching along, and I'm like, okay, this is actually getting kind of funny. And I bump him on the shoulder. There's a part where this skeletized female is in bed with a guy. She's scaring him, and Arthur pops up and then goes back to his tablet. Okay, it's pretty bad when your kid, who's like 7 years old, is like, we've seen worse than that. Moving on.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So all the stuff that visits us, it's honestly, yeah.
Yeah, and of course there's going to be so much happening there because there's a lot of death there. It's a nursing home.
Yeah.
My
question is, were you able to move any of the spirits on? And were some spirits, were they echo recordings? Were they
right?
I mean,
the 1 a.m. seems to be like an echo recording. And so there's this one other one that is just weird. So I'm sitting at the nurse's station that has the cameras and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then like there's a door right next to it, and then just past that is like long windows looking over a dining table. Okay. Now the dining table is like a super shiny wood. Mm-hmm. And like I'm just like folding laundry, doing my thing, and I look up because I noticed the movement, and I see like a reflection in the table of someone walking outside towards the door. And I was like, oh, must be the meds that are here or something like that. Yeah. And then I look at the camera, there's no one there. Like, wait a minute. I look outside, nothing. And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
Because I very clearly saw like the reflection of a person walking.
There are a lot of times even in the shop. And it's really bad because when Antoinette, my energy worker, watches the shop, she'll get it where stuff will ding the bell. It'll go in and out, in and out. And she's like, ah! You know? And then Nicole has been sitting there with my dad when he was doing readings at the shop and stuff. And they're both like, what the hell? We just saw something. Wait a minute. That's not right. And then you hear the bell start dinging. Once I got that doorbell, it's just like,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's fun though. It's fun. Normally when I'm there, it's not so bad because I can actually feel the presence and I'm like, okay, what do you want? What's going on? If you're bad, you need to leave, you know? But, you know, it's just, yeah. Ooh, hold on. Wait. Speaking of ghosts, I've always seen them but don't have gifts. Is that normal? You probably have some sort of clairvoyance, honestly.
Yeah, it's like you might not have like as many gifts as you see others have, or like you probably still have them, just haven't tapped into it or even understand. Because I look back at my past and realized that I've been doing vamping for longer than I knew.
Well, and that's the thing. This stuff is not normalized in society, and so it leaves people with a lot of unanswered questions, kind of feeling like they're crazy. If you're seeing ghosts, then yeah, you probably have a clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is not just seeing the future. Clairvoyance is literally clear seeing. So you can see into other realms, you can see past, present, but you can also see other beings that might not be visible to the naked human eye. As far as psychic gifts, though, everybody's got gifts. Every single person ever. Okay. But the thing is, are you born with it switched on, switched off, switched down low? And then the other thing is, remember, it's just kind of like a muscle. The more you work it, the more it's going to grow. And one of the things I always say when you're first starting out, trying to get better, trying to use these skills more, and I'm just going to call them a skill, you want to start keeping track of them. You want to have a notebook, journal, app. I recommend a physical journal, but then again, I'm more about physical stuff anyway. But keep track of your hunches, keep track of everything. Whether you're right or wrong, it's going to give you a good barometer, and it's going to show you where your skills lie. And also remember, you can develop new skills all the time.
Yep.
Hold on a second. Here we go. So, yes, Beth, you probably have a gift. I'm not going to say 100%.
It is normal.
Yeah, it's definitely normal. Okay. Sabrina, we had a little girl in our house that ended up being a niece of our neighbor, and she had been trying to reach out to her. Since I channeled her, we haven't seen or heard her. And that will happen a lot too. Once they get their message across or get in touch with whoever or get their unfinished business closed up, finished, you know, then they can go. They can move on. Let me see. Beth. Thanks.
We have a visitor.
Oh, Kitty.
Oh, hi, Kitty.
I was handed a cat.
Hi, Kitty.
She's
Meow, meow.
so sweet. Here.
Hold on.
Did it hiss?
No,
Okay.
she's purring.
Oh,
Sounds like a hiss.
I
It
thought-
might be. It might be my microphone. She was probably
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was.
is
Sounded
right,
like a hiss.
right on it.
Hmm.
No, she's a nice girl.
So there was one last thing that happened. There was the one thing that I was just like, I'm done, because I'd never been so close. Because I'd always just seen it, never been next to it. So there was like two of the clients liked to wander at night,
Mhm.
and most of the time naked. That's pretty common.
Man.
And so like anytime I hear a doorway click, I'm like, okay, someone's up and out of bed. Let's go check and help them get back to where they need to be. Help them make sure that they don't need it like changed or anything. And so I go head over there because I could tell it the click was from over there. and both doors are closed. So I'm like, that's strange. No one's out. Doors are closed. I'll just check on them real quick to make sure. And like, I open one, and they're doing their normal halfway off the bed naked, but they don't like to be moved. So like, okay, they weren't moving. They're asleep. Close. And I want to check on the other one before I started checking for if they need changed. And right as I reach for the doorknob, right next to my ear, I just it's like, we're good. I'm going back to the nurse station.
Don't you love it when they just crawl right up your la chocolata and be like, hey, and you're like, boundaries, too close.
Yeah, it was right here.
Yep.
And I'm just like, nope.
You ever really want to freak them out, especially if you know you have a fear feeder? Snuggle right up and be like, hey, that feels kind of good. Do it again. No, literally, the spirit will pull back because it's not getting what it wants out of you.
Yeah. And like, that's probably one of the reasons why that happened, is because all the other things that happened, I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Okay. One finally got you. Yeah, no, there's always that one.
Well, there was another one that was like just one of the face around a pillow, but it was just like oh, okay. It was shocking, not so much. Like, it was probably creepy, but yeah.
But no, that one, that would be very uncomfortable. And I don't like it when they like to hover too close.
Yeah.
When I was first painting and fixing up the shop, when there was nobody in there, I felt something behind me, and I could make out its shape. It was a very large, bald male, but very broad-shouldered and everything, and he got a real kick out of scaring women, especially. And I knew that, and I could feel that, and I just told him, I'm like, buddy, you're barking up the wrong tree. But he kept trying. Every time I was painting the backsplash where all the stones are, he would keep trying to come up on me, and I'm like, dude, no, we're not doing this shit. I get it. This is your home. You were literally here before I was, and I can respect that. But let's have some boundaries. I'm taking it over. Just calm your shit. Boy, I need a bleeper. I swear way too much. All right.
There was another thing that happened. It didn't really bother me that much, but it was still like interesting. It was in the other house because it was a dual house nursing home. Mm-hmm. And there was like this TV that was little thing, not huge, but it was over the dining room table, like on the back wall of it, and like oxygen machines near it. And like, I'm sitting there folding laundry out on the bar essentially, and like, all of a sudden I hear some hissing, and I'm like, "Why don't those turn on? Like, what's going on with that?" Like, so I go start walking over to check, make sure that they're not on. There's no leaks or anything like that. And the TV flickers on. And I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. And as I walk towards it to turn it off and to check the machines, farther in the house, like from where one of the members' rooms is, that's female, I hear, "Hey!" And I'm like, the fuck? So I go over there to see maybe someone walked in the building and is needing my attention. Yeah. Doors closed, no one there. Lady's nice and asleep, and I'm just like, well, that was interesting.
Wow. Now the other thing is, was it a ghost? And here's where it's going to get fun. Was it a ghost, or was it a telepathic transplacence? Have you ever had that happen?
It kind of feels like it was a ghost because it sounded like angry almost, like because I was turning the TV off or something. I don't know.
I've had different things. While people are alive, I'll be able to hear them plain as day where I'm at, or like around different people, stuff like that. And that's always kind of, they're almost projecting themselves there. They're doing it unconsciously, but they're thinking about a place or a person so hard that a part of them kind of drifts over. And most of the time, they don't even know they're doing it. I call it transplacence because I'm not sure what else to call it, honestly.
It's not a bad term.
And then there was one spirit in my old apartment. Hated anything to do with vampires. I had to take out any books, anything, even joke books about vampires. Even my Gothic tarot, packed it all up, put it at my dad's place.
So insulting. I'm kidding.
Hey, no, not psychic vampires. We're talking actual ones.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated them. Loved Stargate. Loved anything science fiction. And so I would just put it on for the spirit to watch. Be like, okay, I'm going to bed. Click. There you go. Have fun. It's a marathon.
Cohabitation.
Okay. I've been in hospitals most of my life, and I've always had issues, but telling them to back up almost always works. You are so right. Thank you, Beth. And boy, yeah, I bet with hospitals, oh yeah.
Yeah, if you show yourself as not a source of energy, then back up.
Hold on. Sabrina Wheeler named our daughter after. Oh my God! Which one? Which character, or did you actually name her Stargate? Wow. But which character? I'm really curious. I love Stargate, by the way. I love all things science fiction and fantasy and supernatural. Okay. Eowyn. I've never seen a spirit, but I can hear them sometimes. Now that would fall more under clairaudience. So like with clairvoyance, clear hearing. So past, present, future, other side, all that stuff. When I was a child, I heard what sounded like stacks of books dropped on my bedroom floor in the middle of the night. I later learned that the century-old house I was living in at the time had been owned by a professor at nearby Coe College. My room was the attic, and that had been his home office, where he also died of pneumonia. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Continued studying, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's be honest. If we were all dead and earthbound, we'd still be studying too.
Yeah, plus, I mean, books are great.
Oh, Taylor Elizabeth, because Sam was too generic. I like it. And Taylor was pretty awesome on Stargate Atlantis. Love her. Okay. Either of you guys watch Stargate or Stargate Atlantis?
No.
Well, you got to get
I
into
don't have time to watch anything. I wish.
I know.
it. Right?
Well, we did kind of just start Outer Range. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't. What is that about?
It's super interesting. Well, I'm trying to piece it together because we just started the second season that was, so long between the first and second that I was trying to, but it's basically this guy, there's a portal that opens up in the ground of his his ranch out in Wyoming, I think, but it only opens up like every so often. Well, he came to modern day from like 1886 or like 1889 or something like that. And it's all these people that are traveling through this hole in the ground. And there's, people coming back from years later. It's just really, it's kind of blowing my mind.
That's actually really awesome. I just looked it up. I'm going to have to try and check that out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Wait, how scary is it?
I don't think it's scary.
Okay, perfect. No, that way I can have wub around when I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, it's not scary.
Okay. We also got the Earth symbol as our wedding rings tattooed. Oh, yay! God, that's so cool. Okay, go ahead.
I think I might be. There was a time where, like you said, everyone has gifts, and I kept thinking, I don't have gifts. And until I realized, because I never see anything, I never feel anything until I realized I think that I hear things. And
I agree, Beth.
It's interesting. Ooh.
I'm a librarian who works in a haunted library. If I was good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where is it? I want to go.
Yeah. Where?
Oh
my God.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
There has been happenings in most of the libraries I've worked in.
Yeah, but not really
so much energy.
Super, super haunty.
Yeah, because you pour your energy into the books and it manifests its own thing.
Yep.
Okay, so guys, if her library is super haunty, what do we say? Who's up for a road trip?
I would go. I love searching for ghosts.
I'd have to work around it, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on where it is.
Okay. Okay, here we go. I've been in a haunted library, but they moved out of the building. Boo. Well, Nicole, you're coming with us on the road trip. Now, True.
True.
Library.
True.
Are you serious? That's super haunting. That surprises me. But cool.
Most of them are like that. And it's crazy the things that can get haunted.
When I worked in Debbie has issues. I know, Nicole. Nicole works in public library.
Yeah.
And oh my God. She has so many issues in there. Oh, another cute spawn.
I'm gonna tell Dad
Tell Dad what?
that I'm ready for bed.
Okay. Like tell Dad what?
But yeah, like the places that can become haunted is unexpected. Even some super modern places. I worked in a subway that was haunted.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And
hey, you know what though? Subway is awesome. I would definitely haunt a subway.
Well, it was concerning.
Oh God, I hear voices and chairs move. All right, Nicole, when is this happening? I must come visit you when this happens.
I'm looking it up right now.
True.
True or true?
U-O. True O. So true O.
But yeah, so in the subway, it had the outside of the building had like a large beam, probably about that thick. That was the support beam, and it was like drilled into the concrete and everything.
Okay.
And way too often, we would lock up for the night, leave, come back to find 2 to all 4 of the bolts out of that thing and inside and on top of the freezer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it just kept happening.
But to be fair, if there is a library coffee shop when I die, I'm like going to be there permanently. You're going to be like, Alicia, go to the light. No. So,
one more coffee.
Yeah, pretty much. I have seen some chaotic things happen in Subway as an employee. None paranormal though.
Yeah, there's lots of chaotic things that happen there, especially the customers.
Ex-employees. Yeah.
But that was one of the main things that just kept happening that just made no sense. Plus also some weird movement inside the freezers, but that also could have just, I don't think it was rats, but because it was like,
oh God, don't tell me.
It was a weird noise. Okay. You know the movie Critters?
Oh yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Now see,
the little like the little chirping thing.
Okay, literally, if I had heard that noise in a freezer or anywhere, I would have left and never come back.
Oh, I was like,
I'm gone.
I don't like this because it was an instant reminder of that movie.
So my question is, did you find any eggs broken anywhere with goo?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't find anything weird. I just kept hearing that noise, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. No. They're building a coffee shop in our current library once we get our new space. All right, guys. I will be reaching out to you from the beyond. Besides, man, now I'm really going to have to go visit the Truo library. Ishika, how's it going? Not too bad. How about you?
It's been, our topics have veered wildly, but
yeah.
No, they always wander. That's one of the nice things about this. The topics are always going to wander, but we do have some mainstays. And the nice thing is, in future episodes, we can recover stuff that we think of that we may have missed.
I just love how I keep becoming a mainstay.
I know, right? Well,
but I mean, it makes a good backup.
From what I can see, everybody's loving the psychic vampire action. So, yeah.
I guess it makes it different because so many people are used to the psychic vampires being, you need to avoid them. Whereas I'm trying to make it a good thing.
Well, I love the fact that you're embracing or actively searching out and working with the positive attributes and pushing the boundaries of what you can do. Boop. Okay, it's going all right here too. Sweet.
That's good.
I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, no, I think Truo Library is going to get a visit.
At least it's in Iowa.
Yeah, that's true. Although, honestly, even if it wasn't, it'd still be fun.
Well, at least it's not like trying to go visit the 1,000 Steps up in Spokane, Washington.
That could be fun too.
It was okay. It would not be worth the drive right now. If you lived up there, it's worth it. But going up there, what I think it's Waukesha Park. That one was cool.
Okay.
Like there was the playground with like you would hear children laughing and stuff like that. And that like it used to be a old school ground that burned down.
Oh, wow. What is that joke? There's nothing sweeter than the sound of a child's laughter, unless it's 3 a.m. and you don't have children.
Yep. And that's kind of what it was. I was hanging out with my friend. We were just sitting on the hood of my car, just hanging out at Washington, and we heard the children laughing, and it was actually probably like closer to like 1 or 2 a.m., but still.
I mean,
that's interesting.
I'm glad they're happy, but still,
right?
Yeah.
And like we hear like the merry-go-round thing. I can't remember what they're called, but it starts creaking and spinning.
The flippy thing of death. That one.
Yeah.
The spinning thing of death.
Spin. Yeah.
Apparently, my husband he had basically he's like 1 year older than his sister who passed away recently. God rest her soul. And a couple of the older kids decided to come over and try and spin that thing as fast as they could with him and her on it. He knew how to lock his body in and hold on. And he kept telling her, you've got to hold on. And of course, she didn't want to listen. So she went flying off. And yeah, so the spinny thing of death.
It's a good name for it.
Then you get trapped underneath it too.
God, I hope not. Dear God, that's terrifying. Oh, trauma from playground equipment, right?
Yeah. I have a lot.
Oh, damn. You were adventurous then.
I guess.
See,
or just clumsy.
Dude, I was not that adventurous as a kid. I was like, okay, I'll just swing or I'll climb or slide. You know, I wasn't trying to flip the monkey bars on top of myself or throw myself off the slide or something. Dang.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like other cryptids that I know good amounts about.
Oh gosh.
Chupacabras, Mothman, Yetis. Actually, hold on. I was going to pull this up earlier and I forgot because you guys were talking about the Wendigos and stuff. And it was really interesting. There's actually a list of cryptids.
I have it up right now.
Okay, cool. What I want you to do then, Cass, Thor, wherever we're going with this, I want you to copy that link and put it in the comments. That way people can look it up. Because I was going to do that, and then I forgot. Beth Cole, skinny thing of death could be a t-shirt. Oh, yeah, that's true. Spinny thing of death. When Yetis are so cool. Very true. Now, here's a question. Do you guys think that the Yeti, the abominable snowman, and Bigfoot are all actually the same creature?
Same species.
I think, yeah, exactly. Like we were talking about before, how they're kind of like the same description of all of these creatures that people see, but they're different in order to, like, they've adapted to their environment, right? Because if they're here, they're not going to need like a huge thick coat of white all year round, but in other places they would. So yeah,
there we go.
And Sasquatch. My phone went dead, so I was watching Creepshow, and it was a story with a bear casting evil spells on TV. Nice. I do need to watch Creepshow. Sabrina, I'll make one. She will make a t-shirt. Cool. Erwin, probably. And Sasquatch. Don't forget Sasquatch or Skunk Ape.
So, and there are different ones too, because there was one called Clubfoot up near Rice.
Okay,
Rice,
peeps.
Washington.
Wait,
That's
Facebook.com.
Yeah, it's a Facebook link.
Really? It was a Wikipedia link the last time I looked.
That's weird.
All right, I'm going to go look on Wikipedia. Hold on. Go ahead. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go dig out that link.
But yeah, so there was a Clubfoot up in Rice, Washington, It's like a big local lore there. It's essentially they found like Bigfoot, normal sightings, everything like normal Bigfoot stuff, except for this one seems to have an injured foot that even shows up in the castings of the feet print.
Okay.
Oh, so it's like one specific one.
Yeah, like it like its foot was broken and healed wrong.
Wow.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay, here we go. Yep, this is it. Hang on. Boop.
I want to look at it too.
Yeah, squonk. Yeah.
Okay. A squonk. All right, guys, tell me about the squonk.
Oh, the squonk.
The squonk.
The squonk.
You know what?
is
That's going to be a
sad
new
little guy.
word for me. Yeah, squonk.
The squonk basically just is crying all the time because he's so ugly. And he's so sad that he's so ugly. Yeah. And he's like a pink, fleshy, blobby thing that's just crying all the time.
God, that's terrible. Okay, squonk.
But people
All right.
really love him.
Some theories are that these creatures have abilities to transform like metamorphosis and disappear to the human eye. Some say they come from aliens. Well, I'd give it half a dozen.
Like we were talking about earlier, how the whole thing of them communicating with each other and all that.
Okay. Me too, girly. Me too. Okay, let's see here. I listened out loud in a fanciful tone when I saw the comment. Platinum tier word for sure.
Squonk.
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 Squonk. Okay, so question. If you call somebody a squonk, is that a bad thing or a good thing?
Technically, it's a bad thing
Probably
because
bad.
Okay.
of ugliness.
Yes.
Like, oh, just go cry because you're so ugly. Like the
Yeah.
squonk. Yeah.
And the great thing is not many people know that word. Alrighty.
There's a squonkapalooza every year, too.
Seriously.
Oh,
By the
yeah.
way, did you
Huge.
guys know about the Van Meter Creature Festival? Van
Oh, yeah.
Meter Visitor Festival?
I went last year.
Holy cats. It's insane. Is there going to be one this year or have I missed it?
It's at the end of September usually. That's
Oh, wow.
when Van Meter Visitor came. So you go on a little tour hoping that you'll see her again.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I seen a Bigfoot here in Iowa. Someone said it was a teenage Bigfoot. It looked just like a Wookiee. Nice.
Well,
Well, no,
Interesting.
my dad and I, we used to tease when we were driving down the road in both Michigan and here and in Colorado and stuff where we've lived. When we smelled that really strong, sulfury skunk smell, it's like, okay,
yeah.
it's either a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or somebody ran over a skunk. What are the odds? I see no skunks. We better drive faster, lock the doors, and keep the windows up.
Skunk ape. Yep.
So that is interesting. I had forgotten about that association with that.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Dad was really into the deep end of a lot of the French science and stuff like that when I was little, and he would read me reports. Apparently, Bigfoot, they carry off women that are camping all the time.
Oh my God.
They have get this though, you guys are going to love this one. Big time, I guess a big time signal for them is when a woman is on her cycle.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they like redheads.
Interesting.
They will literally carry off the redhead before any of the other ones.
Hadn't heard that.
Mm-hmm.
That is curious, but
Better tell my sister.
Oh God! It's like and it doesn't work if you have hair dye.
Hers
So-
is very natural red.
So it's not the visual of it. It's just probably something they smell in the body.
something pheromone wise or something like that. Yeah.
So yeah.
Huh.
I do have a story of something I've done.
Oh,
Yeah,
hold
I
on.
don't-
Then what do they do with them? We don't know. They're not seen again.
We don't
Uh,
know.
So either they eat them, or they make babies. Or some other ungodly purpose. Maybe they sacrifice them to their ritual gods. You never know. Hold on, just a second. When I like redheads too. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Van Meter is way fun. Well, hello, big crazy. I have red hair. Well, hey, baby, you know what? Never know. I mean, with as hard as dating is from what I've heard from all my clients, this could be a whole new step in the right direction for some people.
Cryptid dating app.
Heck yeah.
I would try.
Oh my god.
But I am very open with stuff. So
Oh hell yeah. Alrighty then.
but so okay, so what happened, and I don't know, like I didn't associate this with any specific cryptid because I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
But I had gotten new night vision goggles. So I was like, gotta test them out.
Oh god. This is gonna be bad.
So me and a friend, and so we're in Idaho, forests everywhere. Like there is, if the cities are the only place that's not technically forest, but there's still forest in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided, okay, let's all turn off all lights and trade back and forth the night vision goggles to like keep an eye out around us and go Wendigo hunting.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, Thor, I gotta be honest with you now. I've heard of some crazy shit, but that takes okay, that's either very unwise or that takes a hell of a lot of cojones.
I was 19.
Okay, so we're gonna go with both. Both.
Also, my friend was kind of like a pusher. Like he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, Idaho is so underrated. Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Forgetfarmersonly.com. Hello. Oh Jesus.
Cryptidlove.com.
Oh
So
god.
we start walking out like along a road that's almost never used. Like it's used occasionally, but very, very few. Like we weren't going to see anyone, we figured. And that way it would stay dark because we would walk away from the city. And we walked for like, I don't know, 2-3 miles. And then like out on the trees on one side, all of a sudden we started noticing like just like a stillness at first. And
Okay, when all the animals go quiet and run away, you should too.
Yep, that should have been the first time.
You should leave.
But I'm like looking like, okay, what's going on? So I'm trying to find out, do I see anything in the woods? And these goggles, they weren't horrible, but they weren't amazing. So I can only see like pretty much just into the tree line.
It would have been curious. I mean, granted, this whole idea is a really bad idea, but it would have been curious if you had actually had heat vision goggles.
I was thinking
that would have been kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Although infrared, unless it's a high-powered infrared or a specific type, it tends to not have good range.
Okay.
Kind of actually just like night vision, actually.
Wow.
But like as I was scanning, I noticed something just moving super quick, like not like insane, but like almost sprinting speed, and it was large. I mean, like truck sized.
Well,
just running through the forest, and I'm just like,
whoa.
What the fuck was that? And at that point, we're like, all right, we saw it, we're done, let's go.
Well, the other thing you could have done, since you were already out there making the unwise decision, what you could have done is get spray paint or paintball it.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah, you would have found it. You would have been able to see it and take pictures. Granted, you would have been dead, but somebody would have found the footage.
Yeah, no. I did have my pellet gun on me, but that's
No, we're talking paint gun, baby. Just hit it with all the paint so you could actually see it.
Yeah, there's some crazy things out in the middle of the forest of Idaho. Like I was saying, I've encountered deer that all the other deer would not go near, and it would just stare at me.
Hey man, there's some deer around here in Iowa that are like, "What? You looking at us? You come in our hood?"
Here, they're just gangster.
Yeah, I know, right? You're like, you are literally in somebody's front yard. Exactly. This is our hood. Move on.
No, this was more of like I'd be going down the road towards my mailbox, and you see deer, they jump off, or they'll just sit there and be like, "Hey, you got food?" Stuff like that. But then like you would hit this big patch of them, and then all of a sudden, farther down the road, there's one deer, and none anywhere near it, and it's just standing there staring at you straight on. Not like, "Hey, you got food?" but more of just like you don't belong here.
More like, hey, player, what up? And you're like,
There
uh,
was
uh.
no friendliness to it at all.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look like it was going to attack me, but it was just wrong.
You could sense it.
Yeah.
The does in Suburban are in my fence backyard. They brought babies last year, and that is awesome. Those are not the deer we're looking for. Those are not the deer. They are not the not deer.
Yeah, no. And that was before I had done much research about things. And then later on, when I heard about the not deer, I was just like, oh, shit.
Okay, so guys, what does the not deer do? I've heard of it. I've heard a little bit about it, but what does it do? And what are you in danger of having happen?
It's mixed. Some say that people just disappear. Oh yeah,
strange lights in the blue. Oh yeah, Will o' the Wisps, ghost lights, aliens, God knows what.
Yeah. But the not deer. So one of the things is like how they get people to like come close is they start screaming, like human screams.
Oh Jesus, yeah. That's called baiting people in.
It literally is. It's kind of similar to like out in Idaho. A lot of times, everyone will say, if you hear a baby screaming, run away. Because of two things. It's either something trying to lure you, or it's a cougar.
Right.
Really?
Because they sound like a baby screaming.
Honestly, though, I could never in good conscience run. I'd be like, all right, you know what? Let's get this on. Let's dance. Simply because if there actually is a baby crying out in the woods, because I do know it was common practice once upon a time to leave babies out to die. So
yeah, but at the same time, it was common practice, which means why is it out there now?
Well, some people are still pretty assholes.
That's the smart move. Call the cops, be like, hey, I heard a baby out there. So it's either a cougar or a baby. Can you guys check it out?
Right.
That Bigfoot I seen walked out of an 8-foot ditch like gliding. He took big steps without any strain, walked in front of us and looked right at us. It stopped for just a few seconds and walked on to the other side and went back down to drop off with ease. Oh,
wow.
Bad open. Maybe not. Oh, alien abduction. Hope not. Or it's a bunch.
I guess that could be established. Maybe the not a deer.
I've heard sex traffickers use that to lure people. Wow.
Yep. Or they will actually sometimes you'll be hearing that that's them where they're holding someone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
horrifying.
Middle of nowhere is the best place.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, the screaming not a deer, it sounds like just like a grown person screaming.
Wow.
There's actually a really well done video of it. I'm not. It could be fake, could not, but it captures the idea of it really well. I'll have to try to find it and show it to you sometime, because it's got some creep to it. Because the deer, they don't act like normal deer. So there is a whole theory about the not a deer are just deer with a fungal infection.
Oh gosh, okay.
That's kind of like the cordyceps, where it takes over the brain, kind of thing.
Yeah. They start acting weird, and then
the
other deer.
There is some stuff like that you have to be careful about, like when you're hunting, because you have to make sure that the deer doesn't have any infection. Otherwise, they can make your family sick.
Right.
Yeah, zombie deer. Yeah. That's literally what they're called.
Scary. Yeah. They just walk around in circles and.
Yep, they're sitting there like bleeding or wasting. It's they are like either not really alive anymore or barely alive, and they're not really there. They're trying to die, trying to spread. Yeah, it's like cordyceps. It's the fungal like disease trying to spread.
Yeah.
Or some people think not a deer are the flesh pedestrians. Because they can shape shift, but they never quite get the shape right. Yeah. That's what they think. Like, they've got it close enough, but not quite.
Yeah. So a lot of times people have said that not a deer, sometimes you'll see them and they have like an extra ear or like 6 legs.
Right.
Or Just
Or
something.
their
about
knees
them.
are backwards.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now that I've heard. Okay, so
Yeah.
flesh pedestrian, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the new
Okay.
term for the modern skinwalker.
I'm not
And
taking any
that-
chances. I'm not invoking that thing. I've got enough going on.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get you. But no, that's actually a new word, flesh pedestrian, huh? Okay.
Well, because the flesh, skin,
Mhm.
and pedestrian, walker.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
it's
It's not
direct
easier to
correlation
say,
without. Yeah,
So put
yeah,
snow to die and they became vegetables. Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Well,
So
they
the
got some
banshee
legends after that.
is like great loss, is what it stood for a lot of times in a lot of lore. But yeah, so the flesh pedestrians, I find them curious because the original Native American skinwalkers, they were shamans
Mhm.
that would use skins to transform.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's very true. And so the fact that the flesh pedestrians are using the same name but are so different because there's so much more just a pure shapeshifter creature, not human. It's a very different vibe, kind of like the modern Wendigo versus the like native European Wendigo.
Yes, I actually have heard of the lizard people. Haven't seen one, haven't met one.
Yeah,
I really don't want to in the dark in an alley, but if one dropped by the shop to just say hi when my kid wasn't there, I would be able to have,
that clarification.
yeah, I would be able to have a decent conversation. I would hope. And honestly, God knows if they do truly walk among us, God knows how many of us have run into them.
Right.
There are a good number of different things that are people,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like vamps.
Mm-hmm.
We are human, but we're different.
No. We're talking about stuff that's actually disguised as a human.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's also where some of the Fae,
Yeah.
stories of the Fae were. It's that they were just different type of human.
Okay, never mind. If it's lizard people and it's actually a fae, never mind. Don't want to talk to it. Want nothing to do with that. No
Fair.
way. Nah. Nope.
See, I kind of flirt with danger too much, and I would probably do way too much, like to just be like the Fae.
Hey, babe, I gotta go check on something real quick. Can you hold the fort for a sec?
What's a sec? I was getting ready to jump in the shower and go to bed.
Probably about 3 or 4 minutes.
3 or 4
Yeah,
minutes.
come here. All right, he's gonna hold the fort for a minute.
I don't really want to, but I mean, if I have no
Mothman shall
choice-
return.
Hey,
Ow.
I remember getting you that candle. I'm gonna blow it out.
Don't blow it up. Chair butt. Ow. You're back.
Yeah, I know her version of "Be Right Back." It might literally be 30, 40 minutes, and I'm not going to stay on here that long.
I don't think I can either.
No, it might be raining tonight, but there's a good chance I still have to work in the morning. So, right, Thor?
Huh?
Exactly. So, what were we discussing?
Flesh pedestrians.
Yes.
Flesh pedestrians.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it was those damn goat suckers.
I
Right.
don't know too much about chupacabras except for like just some of the like
What the hell's a
things I've
chupacabra?
seen about like the one that was dissected, stuff like that.
What the hell's a chupacabra? I'm asking about
Do
goat
they eat
suckers.
goats?
Yeah, chupacabra literally means goat sucker.
Oh my god. Speaking of which, did you watch that movie on Netflix called Chupa?
Mm-mm.
No, I had to cancel my Netflix. It's too expensive.
Yeah, fair enough. It's okay. I didn't either. Because keep in mind, chupa is the word that means sucker.
Yep.
So, yep, they legitimately made a movie that was called Suck in Espanol. So, go figure. Somebody did not put their brains to use when writing that one up. I mean, it looked adorable. Don't get me wrong, but why would anybody want to watch a movie called Suck?
Probably a
And
lot
that's
of people, actually.
I mean, there is actually also a movie just called Suck. So
Right.
Right.
You're like, interesting.
vampires though.
What is this about?
Let's say we're not talking about the adult section at the video store though either.
But yeah, so if you don't know what chupacabra is, the goat sucker, it actually has a wide range. It's Texas all the way down to Latin America, and like Puerto Rico, all over there, and they're like a weird cross between like a rabid dog, coyote thing, but they're like supposed to be a little bit elongated, like slightly sharper canines, because they would literally puncture and drain the blood out of livestock,
Like oversized vampire bats.
like vampire dogs.
Well, I know the vampire bats down there too. So
Oh, at least they're not like the bats over in Philippines,
the ones that are the size of dogs.
the golden crown.
Yeah, well, I think they eat only fruit.
Yeah, they're sweethearts, but they're terrifyingly big.
Well, yeah. I mean, God. See, all right. So I'm gonna name a cryptid. You're gonna say yay or nay, or for or against. Okay. So Yeti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, chupacabra. We're already talking about it. So
I mean, I've seen the whole autopsy video and everything on that one, and it's like, yeah, it's possible, just probably not as big as they have talked about.
all right, coelacanth.
I don't know that one.
Those are proven true.
Yeah, that's true. It's a fossil fish that scientists honestly believed was extinct until about the 1920s, when they realized the tribes in Africa were catching them the entire time and eating them.
Whoa.
When I say the entire time, I mean legitimately, since crawling out of the caves and everything like that. Hell, they were probably even catching them and eating them in the caves that they were crawling out of at the time. So,
Yeah, that's actually a fun detail of the Atlantis, the Disney movie. So when Milo is talking to that guy that's going to fund the whole expedition and anything, you can actually know that he's not a crackpot and that he knows that stuff is out there before it gets even farther, just because in the background he has coelacanth in his thing, and that was set in the 1910s before they were discovered as real.
right. Okay. Sorry, I said 1920s. My apologies. I was off by a decade. All right, Mabembe.
Well, no, the coelacanth was discovered in the 1920s. You were right on that.
Okay, fair enough.
It was the 1910s where the movie was set, so he had them before they were discovered.
Oh no.
So to show that he knew that things were out there.
Fair enough. All right, so then Mabembe.
The what?
Mabembe. I'm probably butchering it.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't recognize it.
I was wondering if I'd catch you with that one. It's like a sauropod that lives in Africa, deep in the African jungle.
Oh.
But considering the continent of Africa,
It's Nessie like, yeah.
it's more desert and grass than it is jungle. So, you're about to say something, Melissa?
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, and there was a movie that came out in the 80s called Baby, which was legitimately about Mabembe. And so, oh God. See, now I'm trying to think which other kappas.
Kappas? There is way too much prevalent lore about them for them not to have something going on. It could be like a hermit that is just using an oversized turtle shell, or it could be
Like Master
actually-
Roshi.
what?
Like Master Roshi.
It kind of.
But if you've ever watched River Monsters, they actually have a theory that the legend of the kappa is based on the giant salamander that lives in the rivers, because the kappa is also known to basically just eat babies and toddlers.
Oh yeah, Yeah,
So,
Kappa, they weren't exactly malicious, but they weren't nice.
no, if you're a demon, why should you be? You know. Um,
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier, is that yokai versus kami. Yokai and kami, like, I feel like it's like the same creatures on a spectrum between good and evil kind of thing.
see, now I'm also trying to remember the name of this one. Orang Pendek.
Orang Pendek.
Orang Pendek.
I don't recognize that one either. That'd be nice.
Essentially, hobbits living in Indonesia. Little
It's kind of
people.
similar to what I was talking about before with the bat people of like South America. It was like Brazilian area. They're out like they're human, but they're bat-like. Like they have like vestigial wings and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, like Orang Pendek. Like orangutan, Orang Pendek. I think it's like, because orangutans are originally supposed to mean people of the forest. And Orang Pendek, if I remember correctly, is like little man of the forest or something like that. They're not very tall, but they're believed to be living there in the jungles of Indonesia and Sumatra. So, it's gone. Oh, I remember now. The word jungle. You know what it actually means in Hindi? Forest. That's all it means is forest.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like other Hindu words that we use to this day, like shampoo. So, yeah, that's all based on, and Hindi came from Sanskrit. So, I'm trying to think of other cryptids off the top of my head, like Jersey Devil. You guys are supposed to be saying yay or nay to these.
Yay.
Yeah, we were.
Those
That
ones
was
I
one of the ones we were talking about earlier, where it's like probably there's some evolved form of a pterodactyl, something like that.
Mhm.
Soon to be extinct one, or should be by now.
Right. Well, because we were talking about how the Van Meter devil is like they're similar.
Wait, there's a Van Meter Devil, and we've not gone looking for it yet.
What?
They've gone looking. Yeah, they've gone looking, but just never found it. They blocked off the coal mine entrance that it went down, and they just never opened it again, or it was too dangerous to even try to go down there because it was so old. And they, if they went down there, they might die. It might cave in. So they just never went down there again.
Which
if there's
another one that fits that similar description is the Dover Devil. A Dover demon, not devil. Like glowing eyes.
Interesting.
And at the same time, I was just thinking, the New Jersey Devils NHL team.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't sure what they were named for at that point, now you knew.
Yeah. You got to learn the lore.
What about Sasquatch or the skunk ape?
Yeah, like we were saying, like the Yeti, Sasquatch, Squonk, we think they're just the species of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I actually stumbled on a trailer this past weekend called Sasquatch Sunset. I'd look it up right now, but I don't think my wife wants me to show you guys that. Especially, basically, the movie is supposed to. It's centered around one group of Sasquatch that live in the northwest of North America, and it follows them over the course of a year.
Cool.
All right, so I got one here that is. It's an interesting one, and it's similar to some of the things we talked about. Goatman.
Mm-hmm.
So
sounds like a superhero.
Kind of. It's said, like a lot of times it's been construed with being Satan and such like that because of the similarities between it and Baphomet's likeness on most things.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Mothman sighting.
listening to Thor here.
Okay.
But the goat man, there's multiple things it's seen to say, like it's said to do, like both malevolent and just like mischievous almost. Because like some say that like they're out with friends and like having a party or something like that, and all of a sudden they realize there's an extra person among them, but they recognize everyone.
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden, like they after they say that and count, and all of a sudden they're back to the normal number, and they see the goat man outside.
Yeah. At Goatman's Bridge.
Oh my!
God.
No, it should be there should be a troll under that bridge.
Yeah,
As
it's a
trying to
goat
cross.
man.
It's the goat man.
Anyway, I'm going to go take a shower, go to bed. Alicia actually has seen the Sasquatch Sunset trailer.
Oh,
She
God.
can tell you a
no.
little bit about it.
No, I'm not.
She just doesn't want to imagine her guy. She doesn't want to imagine her Sasquatch is having sex.
Oh dear.
That's Sasquatch watch. It's just like, dude, that's weird.
So, sad part is she turned it off.
Here's a cryptid that is like a state cryptid that isn't a cryptid.
Yeah. No,
The spectre moose
yeah, 1 second.
of
there.
Maine. So Maine's cryptid, like their like main thing is the spectre moose, which
Okay.
is like this ghostly moose that is like ethereal. But it's been like it's scientific fact that happens with bison as well. The ghost bison is what they're called, because what happens is the rain or dew of the evening it sits on their bodies, and they're hot, they're heated up, so it starts to
Okay.
evaporate and cause a mist rising off of them. They can look ghostly.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Oh, one thing. She only watched half the trailer, so she didn't see the part where there was a baby Sasquatch born.
Aw, that's cute.
Yeah, but no. It's like, nope, calculating Sasquatch, I'm out.
It was just weird.
And
I
so
actually have to go too, Alicia. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I gotta
Actually,
go.
it was great talking to you.
yeah, this was awesome.
Fun.
So my question, Melissa, is
Yeah.
would you be willing to come on another one even if we didn't have cryptids on?
Sure. A lot of stuff. I mean, I might not know what you're talking about, but I love to hear about it.
I completely understand that, because like the last few, I didn't know anything about like Akashic records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I still come on because I can be a sounding board, or for me personally, being a vamp, I'm the secondary topic.
Yeah. I do love like anything paranormal. I love to hear about even things I don't know about. I still like to hear about them, even if I don't have anything to give input about, but I still like to hear about it, talk about it. So
One other
Yeah.
thing, Melissa, would you do me a favor and actually go to Spotify,
Mhm.
get the handle for your podcast, and put it in the comments?
oh
Because
sure.
I want people to listen to yours as well.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. Let's see if I can do it. I'm on my
And so Delia
laptop.
talked about the Dark Man. That is another interesting one that I'm not like. I don't really sure I agree with it being encrypted, but at the same time, it kind of is.
Well, I mean, see, when I think Darkman, I think
Bowler
they're
hat,
what?
the Bowler Man.
Well, shadow people.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I really need to get an expert on here about shadow people. It's going to be a creepy ass topic.
Yeah, and
But-
I have some interesting stories about that.
Really?
Oh yeah, as I've proven earlier, I was a bit reckless.
Yeah. So tall man, the shadow people, and then there was yep.
Der Grossmann. Also, Slender Man is the modern artistic rendition of Der Grossmann. But my grandma actually had a story about Der Grossmann, and she doesn't know anything about the internet stuff
Really? Okay.
because she's from Germany. And Der
Oh.
Grossmann, the tall man.
Yes. And then there's another one, and this is more toward the alien side of things. There was it was in Alaska. It was a film, but it was actually based on real events. Owl-like people that were abducting people.
It's not working.
Let me go to Spotify. Let me look you up.
Yeah, it's not letting me connect to the comments for some reason. Yeah, it's Weirdsdale.
Oh, Weirdsdale, not Weirdsville. Okay, Weirds
Oh,
D.
Dale. Yep, like Urbandale.
Okay, here we go. Weirdsdale, Melissa, Stephanie, is that
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Okay, all right. What I'm gonna do?
Wait a minute.
Do you know it?
Well, no, you're talking about Urbandale.
Oh,
I
yeah.
live in Urbandale.
Yeah.
Are you normally around Urbandale?
I don't live in Urbandale anymore, but I'm nearby. Yeah.
Okay, because when you first got on, I was like, you look really familiar.
Yeah.
I
Did
wonder
you
if
go
I've
to
seen you around
Urbandale?
Urbandale.
Well, possibly.
Quick question.
I work in Urbandale.
Is it a podcast or a vodcast?
It's a podcast.
Okay.
Yep. I work at the Urbandale Senior Center.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
There. All right.
There we go. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah.
Anything I
Thank
can
you.
do? All right.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
We got plenty of topics for next time, just as long as I remember them, because I just remembered, of course, right at the end, I remember like 3 of them.
I was gonna say, there was something else I wanted to ask you, Thor and Melissa, separately. I'm bringing back the Tuesday night talks, and what those are, a much shorter format, and it's just me and the interviewee. So, Thor, would you be willing to come on about psychic vampirism and the positive attributes? And Melissa, would you be willing to come on some night on a Tuesday night and just have me interview you about the different stuff you're doing?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Yep, as long as I have, like I'm told beforehand, so I can plan around it.
Yeah, no, Thor, you don't get any warning. Just be like, jump on. You're gonna be like, what? No,
I have been summoned.
I'm teasing, but no. All right, you guys. Well, I'd say this is a good time to say goodnight because I am super hungry. I'm gonna go make
Me
myself
too.
some sort of like burger or something. Maybe a walking taco.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was a great conversation. I mean, there's also some like other interesting cryptids that are just weird.
We appreciate you, Eowyn.
And
And
if I can
yeah,
find a picture of it to remember what it was.
thanks. But no, I absolutely love talking about this heavier, hardcore stuff. But I will say, everybody. Oh, hold on, Dila. Mrs. Mothwoman, how's your dad doing? He's not doing too bad. Actually, I'm dragging him on for the live spirit gallery tomorrow night. So, yeah, he's doing okay. Make sure you tune in and at least take a look at him. Thanks for asking, though. But no, yeah, I love doing this stuff. So, anytime you guys want to hop on and talk about this stuff, well, actually, I'm just going to send you guys a list of the topics. They're base topics, and as you can see, we always drift way off subject. So, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Love to you all.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, and outro.